Rome, 1972. A film set inside Cinecittà Studios. Bruce Lee stands in a replica Roman coliseum built from plaster and wood. Blood drips from his mouth. Real blood. His knuckles are split and swelling. Across from him, Chuck Norris circles cautiously, nursing bruised ribs. The crew has stopped whispering. The director has stopped calling suggestions. Everyone simply watches. What was supposed to be a 4-minute choreographed fight scene has become something else entirely. Something dangerous. Something no one has ever captured on film before. This is the Coliseum fight from the Way of the Dragon, and the truth behind it is far more brutal than what made it to screen. But to understand why this fight became legendary, why martial artists still study every frame 50 years later, we need to go back 6 months. Mid-1972. Bruce Lee has a problem. He's conquered Asia. The big boss and fist of fury made him the biggest star in the Eastern Hemisphere, but Hollywood still won't take him seriously. He needs to prove something, not just that he can act, that he can create, write, direct, control an entire vision. So he writes The Way of the Dragon himself, a simple story about a Chinese man defending a restaurant in Rome. But the fights need to be different, revolutionary. They need to silence every critic who calls his films cheap kung fu nonsense. Lee has an idea, a final fight that strips away everything artificial. No wires, no trampolines, no camera tricks, just two legitimate martial artists fighting in real time with real technique. No cuts to hide the action. One continuous sequence that proves martial arts cinema can be art, but he needs the right opponent. Someone the Western audience respects, someone with genuine skill, someone willing to take risks. He calls Chuck Norris. They've known each other for years, training partners, friends. Norris runs karate schools in Los Angeles. He's a tournament champion. 6-time undefeated middleweight world karate champion. Not an actor pretending to fight, a fighter learning to act. Lee explains the concept. We're going to create the most realistic fight scene ever filmed, he says. No holding back, no safety choreography. We trust each other. We make each other look dangerous. You interested? Norris doesn't hesitate. I'm in. They begin rehearsing in Hong Kong 3 weeks before filming. Not light run-throughs, full contact sparring sessions. Lee wants to learn Norris's timing, his reach, his favorite combinations. Norris does the same. They're not rehearsing choreography. They're studying each other like opponents preparing for a real match. Lee's assistant takes notes, which techniques work, which angles look best, which exchanges create genuine tension. One afternoon, they're sparring in Lee's gym. No cameras, just exploration. Norris throws a roundhouse kick. Lee slips it and counters with a spinning back fist, connects clean. Norris stumbles. Lee stops immediately. You okay? Norris touches his jaw, grins. That was perfect. Do it exactly like that on camera. Lee nods. Message received. They both understand. This fight will have real contact, controlled but real. Filming begins in Rome. The Coliseum set is massive, authentic stone texture, arches and columns. The production design team spent weeks making it look ancient. Lee wants the location to matter. 2 warriors meeting in an arena where gladiators once killed each other. The symbolism is deliberate. This isn't a street fight. It's a duel, formal, respectful, lethal. The first day of shooting, the fight is scheduled for 8 hours. It takes 3 days. Lee directs and stars. He's controlling every angle, every camera move, every sound. He explains the philosophy to the cinematographer. The camera doesn't create the action, it witnesses the action. Stay wide. Let them see everything. No quick cuts to hide mistakes because we won't make mistakes. The fight opens with psychological warfare. Lee's character arrives. Norris is stretching, warming up. Casual, confident. Lee bows, Norris doesn't. The disrespect is subtle but clear. Norris gestures, come on, let's get this over with. Lee removes his shirt. Then his shoes, the detail matters. In traditional martial arts, removing shoes shows respect for the space, but it also says something else. I won't need protection. I won't need anything but skill. They begin. The first exchange is testing. Light kicks, probing jabs, feeling distance. The audience doesn't realize it, but this is exactly how real fighters start. Cautious, calculating. Not the wild brawling of typical action movies. Lee wanted authenticity. He got it. After 30 seconds of circling, Norris strikes first. A fast side kick. Lee blocks it. The sound echoes. That's real impact. Real force transferred through real bone. The pace escalates. Norris uses his karate background. Linear attacks, powerful strikes, chambered techniques. Lee responds with Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do. Flowing, adaptive. He slips Norris's punches by centimeters, not feet, centimeters. The camera captures it in real time, no slow motion needed. The speed is visible, the precision is terrifying. Then Lee tries a high kick. Norris catches his leg, sweeps the standing leg. Lee crashes to the ground. Hard, the crew gasps, that wasn't planned. Norris improvised, tested Lee's reaction. Lee pops up immediately, smiles, nods approval, they reset. Lee tries the same kick. This time he feints. Norris bites. Lee switches midair and lands a different kick. Clean, controlled, 1 inch from Norris's face. Norris felt the wind. The audience sees the control. Both men just proved something to each other. The middle section is where it gets brutal. They've been fighting for 2 minutes of screen time, nearly 40 minutes of real-time filming. Both are sweating, breathing hard. The exhaustion is real. Lee doesn't yell cut. He wants that fatigue on camera, wants the audience to feel the cost of combat. Norris throws a spinning back fist. Lee ducks under, counters with a punch to the ribs. Pulls it at the last microsecond, but not enough. Norris grunts, real pain. Lee sees it, adjusts. Lighter contact, they keep going. There's a moment that almost ended production. Lee attempts a jumping spin kick, his signature move. Norris is supposed to block and counter, but Lee's foot slips on landing. He falls awkwardly, his ankle twists. The crew rushes in. Lee waves them off, stands, tests the ankle, limps slightly. The camera is still rolling. Lee looks at Norris. Keep going. Norris hesitates. You sure? Lee nods. They continue. The limp becomes part of the performance. Lee's character is wounded, vulnerable. It makes the comeback even more powerful. The turning point comes 5 minutes in. Lee's character realizes karate alone won't win this. He shifts styles, starts using grappling, elbow strikes, techniques Norris doesn't expect. There's a sequence where Lee gets inside Norris's guard, lands 3 rapid strikes to the body. Norris doubles over. That wasn't acting. Those were real body shots, pulled but real. Norris later admitted, I had bruises for 2 weeks. Bruce didn't apologize, just nodded. We both knew what we signed up for. The climax is pure psychology. Lee's character has worn Norris down. But instead of finishing him, Lee backs off. Gestures for Norris to continue. It's respect. Acknowledgement that his opponent is worthy. Norris rises, battered, exhausted. They exchange one final combination. Lee sweeps Norris's legs. Norris falls. Lee could finish him. Instead, he walks away, sits. Norris understands. The fight is over, not because someone won, but because both men proved what they needed to prove. Then comes the most controversial moment. Norris's character won't accept defeat. He attacks from behind. Lee has no choice. He executes a rear choke, holds it. Norris struggles, goes limp.